let's see if he can bring you back in. But for the meantime, we'll shift over to one of our other guests for the evening, and that will be Lucy Lavely of the Night Shift Theater Company. So I'll send that invitation out to Lucy. Okay, and let's see if we can ask Lucy to go live. I'm so sorry, Carrie. I know it's I had my own difficulties at the top of the program just to be able to bring any guests on. Lucy.
Hi, Rodney. Thank you so much for having me.
Certainly, certainly. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be here. This is really fun. I really enjoyed hearing about Staten Island Shakespeare.
That's great. Well, this is what the whole thing is about for me. The whole New York Shakespeare social media thing is that I came up in the New York Shakespeare scene. I was involved in a lot of different groups around town, and I stepped away for a while. And now that I'm back, there's so many more groups that I.
Welcome back. Welcome back, friend.
Thank you very much. And from what I've seen about your company, the Night Shift Theater Company, you guys are doing some really fun stuff. You guys have a recurring series called the Drunken Shakespeare series, correct?
We do, yeah. It's sort of our little baby that started as a philanthropic giving opportunity for apprenticed artists at particular theater programs, and it's evolved into really a town hall for Shakespeare where any and all can come and perform, and we've sort of given the freedom and the right to speak Shakespeare anywhere back to the people, and it feels really fabulous. And of course, post-COVID, it's been a whole new world.
Okay, so we'll get to that in a second. Let's backtrack for a bit. How did the Night Shift Theater Company start?
Yeah, again, it was a philanthropic concept in 2013, started by two alumni from the Oslo Conservatory for Actor Training, which is a program housed in Sarasota, Florida, and has a relationship with Florida State University. So that's where the degree is from. These students were working on a particular project, and again, using these philanthropic ways to engage participants and audience members, came here to New York and started the Night Shift Theater Company. Since that time, it has been given over to my hands, and with the trusty social media coordinator and our entire company manager, Shay Madison, we've been able to continue this very unique tradition of speaking Shakespeare for free in a bar on a Monday night. We always do Monday night because it's equity night off, and you can be anyone you want to be. You can do any monologue you want, and there are no stakes, and you are guaranteed applause.
So where does the drunkenness come into it? Do people require a little bit of liquid courage before they get up and do their monologue?
That is so fun. Yes, it's a good question. So oftentimes we'll have someone dream of speaking Julius Caesar, dream of speaking the Scottish King. And yes, liquid courage is a massive part of it. Oftentimes we'll have people coming in from work too. And as you know, in the Hell's Kitchen community in New York, it's quite apropos to share a couple of cocktails before heading home. Although we are not an alcohol-driven event, we have many guests who come and only eat dinner. The concept is we do have a couple of traditions where if you do like to enjoy your libations and perhaps experiment with Shakespeare along the way, sometimes we have guests who will drink one drink in the first act and have a couple more by the third and attempt the piece again. Usually they are more bold, more brash. And then, of course, we have the challenge where you can drink during a scene. It's such an incredibly accurate way to express what Shakespeare did, right? We would have had the plebe drinking in the pit as well as the actors on stage. So it's a really freeing way to do the work.
And is there some structure in between there? Is there something that you guys present a couple of scenes and then it goes into the audience participation?
What a good question. Yeah, we are the karaoke of Shakespeare. And that being said, we have our shifties, our fans, our #1 MVPs. We call them the heartbeat of Drunken Shakespeare. We call them the heartbeat because we know they're going to be there every month. They're going to have a new piece to share, and they're going to inspire the audience. We have about a dozen regulars that I would say we rely upon to come and bring new pieces. And then, of course, the addition of bringing a friend opens up the opportunity to do a scene. So we have a lot of people who will prepare material in advance. However, we have some guests who love to come and read right off their cell phone or read right off their tablet and do a piece right there. Oftentimes you'll see a fan or an audience member who's been sitting back inspired and say, all right, I'll do a sonnet in the third act. And that's when we really go crazy.
That's great. That's great. Now, what have been some of your recent presentations?
Well, it's funny you ask. We had a Drunken Shakespeare planned 4 days after New York City shut down.
Right.
So in
In
that moment,
mid-March.
yeah, in March. And we, in fact, it was our most Shakespearean themed month. It was Beware the Eyes.
Of course.
So our company met on the phone and we said, well, what do we do? And we said, well, what if people just like do Shakespeare monologues like in their room, like right here with a wall? What if everyone just gets on their phone? And we had an extraordinary response. We had people tuning in from the bathroom at work, people tagging their friends. And for the first time, we thought, oh my gosh, people can speak Shakespeare anywhere and simply tag the night shift. So with the help of Shay Madison, we created Sequestered Shakespeare, this concept that you can be King Lear right in your bedroom with the appropriate props that you have on hand. Shay and I are in solidarity with the union, of course, and we're eagerly awaiting the return of Broadway, and we will wait until that occurs before we will announce our next season. But until that time, we were sort of debating, how do we do this? And we thought, oh my gosh, we have the most gorgeous, large, historic Shakespearean connected park in the country. Why don't we go ahead and gather there? So we did a socially distant Drunken Shakespeare, first ever in history, in September.
And that was right. That was last month. I remember we were chatting around that time. So how did that all go down?
Oh, it was so fabulous. We had folks masked from beginning to end. We had social distance maintained, which again are the priorities clearly of the union to move forward, to have positive work. And we had 22 guests, which was definitely below Cuomo's requirement of groups meeting up. With the socially distant experience, of course, we're such a group of huggers, right? So we actually did a check-in, and all of our guests shared a rose and thorn. We ran around in a traditional circle of what quarantine has been like for them. We're so emotionally connected. Many of our members have lost jobs, lost family members, made moves. We have company members and fans who are missing their families across the country. It was beautiful to have our fans check in. And then we did performances, Shakespeare in the round in Central Park with masks.
That's fantastic.
It was really fantastic. It was absolutely mind-blowing. And we're going to shift to proscenium style for October.
And how's that going to work?
Instead of doing in the round, we're going to go ahead and set up a traditional stage, and we'll maintain 6 feet between the parties. We're encouraging everyone to bring a blanket, something warm to drink, perhaps a friend in your pod to sit with as well.
And how do people drink through their masks for this drunken festivity?
That is such, I saw some very strategic, slip under with a straw. Surely someone will invent a straw mask. I imagine it's only a matter of months.
If they can invent the vented masks, they can do the straw masks, I'm sure.
You nailed it.
So tell us some of some of your favorite moments with either your performers themselves or the audience, and what they've contributed to the Night Shift Theater Company's Drunken Shakespeare performances.
Oh yeah, well, of course we have this great invention of something called sonnet roulette, which has encouraged folks who don't bring a piece that is prepared to come and perform. Shakespeare's sonnets are the actor's gymnasium. Shakespeare's sonnets are the bones of the creation of what he was working on. These were the 14-line love letters. They are mini books. They are mini journeys, mini sagas that have just as much emotion as Once More Unto the Breach, Dear Friends. So in a sonnet, within 90 seconds, you can really encapsulate a real emotional moment. So we do sonnet roulette. People randomly Google numbers. We have guests call out numbers. So sonnet roulette has been a real fun surprise of the spring. And again, it's really worked well online. On Zoom, we've had people call out to their partner, hey, give me a number, and start a sonnet from there.
So we were talking to Frank from Staten Island Shakespeare earlier about some of the reticence that people in the Shakespeare audience have about joining a live production. That even though there's social distancing and there's masks and there's all those safety protocols, there is a strong segment of the audience that just doesn't feel ready to make that, to take that step yet. So what was it like convincing your audience or making them comfortable enough to come out and join you in Central Park?
Absolutely. It being our first journey, uh, we as a company were happy to have one of our fans show up at all. We knew that this was an experimental idea, so we knew that the folks who were going to come out were those who are in compliance with equity, those who are in compliance with the social rules of the time. We knew that our fans, the trust that we've developed over this last 7 years, was really going to come through to try and make this experimental event happen. Again, it's very clear to me that wearing masks and socially distance allows for a comfortable interaction. And I find the masks a really great challenge for Shakespeare. You know, it's actors are often getting their mouths around the words. You know, of course, actors are famous for spitting, right? Of course, you can be in
Sure.
the splash zone on the first row, and that's
Hmm.
articulation. So how do we work with masks? I'm
Hmm.
excited to see how we can prevent COVID and continue Shakespeare.
That's great. Now, there are a couple of other companies around town that present some other form of Drunken Shakespeare. There is Drunk Shakespeare, who do a fantastic show, but as far as I know, I haven't heard that they are active right now because of the COVID situation. Oh, maybe I'm wrong. And then there's,
I
go
haven't
ahead.
heard as well. I believe they're a primarily indoor space. You know, something that
Right,
they benefit from is having an indoor space. And pre-COVID, we worked at the fabulous Bar 9 in Hell's Kitchen on 54th
right.
and 9th.
Hmm. So that there's them, and then there's another group in Astoria that does some similar kind of Shakespeare karaoke type event. And they also, I think they have some kind of theme nights where it's like they mash up Shakespeare and Harry Potter or Shakespeare and Star Wars or something like
Oh,
that.
I love that. Many of our fans would love that as well.
All right, so I think we need to make a subsection of New York Shakespeare that is relegated to the drunken
You
performance.
nailed it. You nailed it. The release, the
There,
spiritual release that comes with the dramatic language.
absolutely. And as you said, kind of at the top of this interview, this is something that is very much in keeping with what Shakespeare's audience back in the original days would be like. They had the groundlings in the pit down there, and they were
Absolutely. And of
drunk
course,
and rowdy and
Shakespeare met
participating.
not one, not two, but three plagues. I mean, the man was born, you know, shortly before a plague began. So it's very strange to me that we have the synchronicity evolving in this time right now. How can we batter down the hatches and circle the wagons and really come together, circle around this timeless language? He too was shut up in his room, afraid to infect his loved ones, and all those fabulous ladies that he was writing those sonnets to. So it's just a new time, you know.
Well, that's great. So, Lucy, if the people in the audience, either watching now or watching on the replays, want to join the Night Shift Theater Company and catch the next performance, which is on October 21st.
We are October 21st, correct? That's a
Okay,
Monday.
that's a Monday. That's today's the 5th, so that's
No, I
no, it's
apologize. We
the
are October 19th,
October
Monday,
19th.
October 19th,
All right, so that's 2 weeks from
2020.
today. 2 weeks
I'm
from today, October
so in
19th.
love with Shakespeare, I forgot the date of my own event. Yeah, yeah. On Monday, October 19th, we're going to gather at the Great Lawn in Central
Okay.
Park. We'll be gathering there around 4 p.m., which is where we get the ideas of who's performing, what's being performed. Like I said, some people come leaping in saying, "Oh my God, I got a scene." And another group says, "Well, maybe I'll see, dip my toe in the water later." So we do signups around 4, and then we're going to go ahead and start the show at 4:30. And that's on the Great Lawn. The entrance is right there on 81st Street, right when you come up from the subway. Stop the double blue, of course, and the double orange. So that'll be really exciting to see you there. We encourage you to come, to bring a
I plan to.
blanket, to bring friends. We will have more than enough socially distant pods, and we will cut off, of course, around 45 people capacity for the sake of Cuomo's recommendations.
Yeah, I think that's wise in terms of
Yeah.
keeping things safe. And I think as a New Yorker, one of the most important questions I can ask is how much are the drinks? They're not $12 a pop, are they?
You know, for the purposes of Central Park, everybody gets to spend as much on their drinks as you want. So you get to bring in your bag whatever makes you happy. If you need a little whiskey, a little nip for a halftime, that'd be great. And of course, everybody loves a bottle of wine in Central Park, especially with the season
Absolutely.
coming to a close.
Absolutely. All right. So, Lucy, where can people find you to join the Night Shift Theater Company?
We have a presence online at www.thenightshifttheatercompany.com. That's theater with an R-E. And we're also on Instagram at the Night Shift Theater Co. And you can find us on Facebook at the Night Shift Theater Company as well. And we'll be continuing to post posters, and I'll be continuing to read my sonnets. I believe I'm on sonnet 71. So go ahead and tune in, and we'll be excited to see you. Hopefully have a few more in the bag before the event.
Sounds great to me. All right, Lucy, it's been a pleasure chatting with you. Good luck with the upcoming event, and I hope to see you
Thank you,
soon.
Rodney. I hope you and yours are safe and healthy. Thank you so much for having me. And it's a
Sure, it's been a
pleasure to see
blast.
you.
Likewise. Thanks so much.
Of course.
Take care. Okay, so that was Lucy Lavely of the Night Shift Theater Company and their Drunken Shakespeare. It's a lot of fun. You can check that out. They have their next event coming up in 2 weeks, Monday night, October 19th in Central Park, and that is going to be a blast. Check out the Night Shift Theater Company. Let